All right, everyone. Welcome to the fourth in the series of Nate watching Friday the 13th films. This is Nate obviously watching Friday the 13th, the final chapter, the fourth and final Friday the 13th film ever made. Glad to have you guys joining me either live or most of you guys will probably be listening after the fact, just like I've been doing. I don't know, with the first and third one, I'll probably maybe start the movie 10 minutes into this particular audio. I was thinking because I don't really look at chat much during these watchings, that maybe you guys could ask any questions or say things you want to say in the first 10 minutes or so. And possibly if I'm still awake at the end of this, maybe you could do a little bit of a, interaction before I end the thing. But, because I do feel bad, having done a radio show since January until like the end of May, like doing these now, and people are used to me reading every comment in chat and responding and stuff. As I'm doing the movie, I see the chat move, and I just feel like kind of guilty that I'm ignoring it. But it's these watchings are mainly for me watching the movie and blabbing my comments about my favorite franchise of all time, which is the Friday the 13th franchise. Wade Wilson says I. Yeah, we'll probably wait another 10 minutes to start the movie. I actually have to put the final chapter disc in, as a matter of fact. That would help. So, as I eject 3, be right with you guys. As I get the glorious Scream Factory Blu-ray of Final Chapter, which looks and sounds amazing, something I've been dreaming of. Final Chapter on Blu-ray with original mono, been dreaming of for years. Okay, so Rooster says, you mentioned Offerings, but I've never heard of it. Is it worth picking up? Maybe. I think it's on. I think the VHS back, at least when I looked months ago, was on YouTube. So I'm pretty sure I either watched all of it, or at least some of it on YouTube before I decided to buy the Blu-ray. So that's one way to go about it. If the VHS is still on YouTube, Offerings is fun. It's, check out obviously my review when I get that thing up. But it's extremely low budget, but I think it's got a pretty good sense of humor, and it's one of these Halloween ripoffs. So if you're familiar with He Knows You're Alone and Sorority House Massacre and movies like that, it's like a Halloween ripoff. So it's kind of fun. It's nothing amazing, but it's fun. I think it's on YouTube if you wanted to check it out. Wade says he was talking about Offerings. I believe that's the Michael Myers ripoff movie from the 80s. Yeah, 1989. Rooster says, yeah, I asked if we watched anything new last stream. Yeah. So if you heard what I said about Offerings, that's my thing on Offerings. I'm should be on YouTube, the VHS tape. At least it was months ago when I checked it out. So we can chat a little bit in chat before I start Final Chapter here. Well, I'll start it to screen save the TV, and I'll just restart it when it's time to start it. But we can chat a little bit if you want to chat a little bit before I start the movie, as we wait for people to show up. I'm seeing a hitchhiker. Thank you very much. If anyone wants to ask questions or something before I start the movie, feel free to do so. Of course, no one's going to say anything when I'm ready to answer questions. Rooster says, cool, I'll probably pick it up since it's a slasher. Yeah, I think I just looked on blue-ray.com. I think it's only like $15. I think the Blu-ray isn't particularly amazing. I think the outfit that distributed it, I think it's its first Blu-ray, because as I mentioned in my review of the movie in Blu-ray in the video I shot today, there's a number 1 on the spine. So it's like a new distributing company, a new distributed company's first Blu-ray, I think. But if you like Halloween ripoffs where it's kind of even rips off the music and just low budget goofiness, the thing about it, when I mentioned it in my review, is it's got a relatively confident script for as low budget as it is. And it would be one of the movies that when I watch it, it's kind of like, I'm talking about Offerings, that you could just take that script and just remake it and it'd just be cool. But I mean, obviously the low budget aspect of the production is part of the charm of it as well. But I would recommend Offerings. I think it's only $15 on Blu-ray right now. So we're about 6, almost 7 minutes into this particular thing. I'm not seeing a whole lot of chatter. I think it's one of these Southern horror movies filmed in shit. I had it today when I did the review. Was it Oklahoma? And if you're familiar with the movie filmed in, must be, I don't know if it's Oklahoma as well, but the shot on video movie from the late 80s by the name of Blood Lake, you can hear a little bit of that music in that movie. I think the guy who directed Blood Lake was was on the crew of Offerings. So Wade, I haven't watched Twisted Nightmare. He says the VHS rip of it is awful and it's hard to see what's going on, so I wouldn't recommend watching the VHS copies of it. Are you talking about Twisted Nightmare or Offerings? Verisimilitude says, Nate, you should do commentaries for The Mutilator and Madman. Well, I'll tell you what, these are fun. So since I'm anal, OCD and stuff, I'm probably not going to do anything else until I finish the first, because my goal is to do the first 7 movies. But if I do 2 a night, we'll be through this first 7 Fridays in no time. It'll only take 2 more nights to do 5 and 6, and then another night to do 7. But yeah, the commentary thing is really kind of fun. So expect more of those, definitely. And thank you very much for the suggestion, and possibly, since I forget what people say in chat, possibly maybe leave that suggestion in the comment of a video so I can make a note of it or something. Oh yeah, and he says on Sleepaway Camp. Yeah, that'd be perfect to do right now because it's summer. Thank you for the suggestions, and I'd definitely be open to that. So Wade says Twisted Nightmare is best to see in high definition. He's offering to stream it. Well, thank you very much, Wade, for your offer. But yeah, definitely when I'm done with the first 7, Friday the 13th, definitely, I'm definitely open to doing commentaries on other films. And since I'm so freaking crazy anal, I'd probably want to do all the first 3 Sleepaways. I mean, they're so short. I could definitely, person could potentially, if I started early enough, I could potentially do all 3 of them in one night if I started at 6 or something in the afternoon. So yeah, these commentary things are kind of fun. So what does everyone think? I don't see fake. Have I seen Fake Shemp say something in the final chapter stream yet? Is Fake Shemp here? I guess if he misses it, he can always hear it later. I just want to make sure everyone's here before I start. Oh, okay. He says he's here, and Wade says Twisted Nightmare uses the same set as Friday 3, so that's pretty interesting. Okay. He might be on the other stream. Well, that other stream should be over with unless my clone is still doing it. All right, what do you say, guys? Are we ready to start final chapter, or do we want to ask more questions? Like I say, after the movie, if I'm still awake, I can potentially answer more questions before I end. What am I saying over in the part 3 stream? Hope it's nothing bad about me. Well, I say we start final chapter. Anyone who's watching it, are we ready? Do you anyone who's going to play it with me, is their final chapter ready to go? Taboo says ready. I think it did. Does Wade Wilson say yes in Spanish? Is that what that SI is? All right, guys. I think we're gonna start final chapter. I'll let you know what mine started. I've been screen saving the TV with it playing. I'll just have to go back to the beginning here. I'll let you know what I see. Okay. Let me just start this over. So Paramount logo fades in. Stars, words, clouds go to blue. And the final chapter, it's weird. It's always been not so blue. It's been like a gray. I've never understood that. It's just the way that it worked out for this movie. The moon fades in. Oh yes, let's not forget the classic, the work they did on this freaking montage or whatever catch up of the last 3 films is just awesome. Camp Crystal Lake is jinxed. It's got a death curse. This is just beyond awesome, and the new music that Harry Manfredini does here. Oh hi, what are you doing out in this mess? Jun, 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 jun. And using the campfire from part 2. I mean, how perfect is it? Paul explains something, and then they show something from another movie that kind of goes along with what he explained. We didn't find any boy. Then he's still there. She disappeared 2 months later. Wow. Ah! Legend has it that I don't know what the line is right there. Oh, okay. Look at how they cut that back and forth. So he took his revenge. It's so funny how now they're showing people that are dying that are sitting next to him at the fire. Like she's dying right there, and do we show her sitting next to him again? Yeah, there she is right there. Oh, Jason was my son, and today is his birthday. Shh. That's a good boy. Betsy Palmer's in the first 4, isn't she? It'd be so funny to see like the wheelchair fall over or whatever the hell happens before they cut away. Jason's out there. Did it? No, no. Can't be alive. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. See, finally, this is what I missed in the opening credits of part three, is just the normal music and the great black screen with the just randomly appearing credits that appear wherever the hell they want. You know, this is what's so nice to go back to with Final Chapter, is serious music and the classic Friday credits white on black. Oh, Taboo says it's raining heavy outside right now where I live, so this is perfect. Yeah, I remember watching the Slayer with a buddy of mine in the late 90s or early 2000s, and like right when it got rainy in the Slayer, it rained outside. That was just crazy cool. Verisimilitude says there are two characters in my script that are tribute to Jimbo and Teddy from Final Chapter. That's awesome. For anyone who doesn't know, Verisimilitude is, it sounds like he's still doing it, which is great. A Friday the 13th. I don't know if he wants to call it a fan film, but we're all excited to see it. Haven't heard from you in a long time. Rooster says I love the opening of part 4. Yeah, if you're talking about the usage of the clips from the first 3 movies, that's beyond classic. And talk about a setup for the movie. And by the time the opening credits here are over and it goes into the the movie proper, it's just like, oh man, we're ready. And what's so cool about the beginning of Final Chapter here is I think it's the only time in the franchise history where they're actually at the location of part 3 here to, they're revisiting the actual location that part 3 filmed at the beginning of part 4, which is just beyond great. And as I said, I'm pretty sure it's the only time in the franchise where the same location was like used from one movie to the next, even if it is just at the beginning of this movie. So I can remember being 12 years old, and it was the summer, and I'd already seen Final Chapter. Me and my dad had already rented it from the video store, but I think I'd only seen it once. And then months later that summer, it was playing on TV, and my mom was gone. She was gone late. And this was probably playing on TV at maybe 10 or 11 starting at 10 or 11. And I can just remember every time I watched this beginning part and the beginning hospital stuff, I can just remember just being 12 in my room, taping this off TV. This is my second time at the time seeing it. But every time I see this stuff, like the early parts of the movie, I just go back to, I can just go back to that memory of being 12 and just being like excited to like being recording, Final Chapter off TV. And for anyone who doesn't know, you can see him on YouTube. Luckily, there's additional scenes that were in the TV version, like that aren't obviously in this version of just search on YouTube, I guess, Final Chapter additional scenes, but those are kind of fun. And it's too bad that they had to wet all this mud down, because as you'll see later on, a car has a difficult time at the end of the scene. A car has a difficult time, and almost, it's spinning its back tires, and the rear of the car swerves off, and it's like it's all muddy. This time they got him. Lee, belt him. Belt him. What's the matter with you? He's dead. So there goes Jason's corpse. He's dead. Got an axe in the head. All right, boys and girls, let's get going. I even thought at 12 that that was like not something a real helicopter pilot would say, but that's okay. It's kind of cool for the movie. So one of these vehicles, I think it's the one in front of this last ambulance here, is having problems right now. And as you'll see, look at that thing. Now look at that. It's just slipping around in the mud because I guess, Joseph Zito, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Probably wanted it to be wet for some reason. It didn't rain in part three, but we'll make it rain after the fact. And I love how he just holds on this for a while with the noise of night before he cuts to that shot, which I think is supposed to scare you. That sound of the door slamming open. And I think that girl that was being hugged is supposed to be Chris, and it's just like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Probably not even wearing their same shirt. And this guy is just hilarious. Is this your last? No, got two more over there. Real cute girl was. Oh, she still is. All you got to do is go over there and take off your pants. Nice talk, real nice talk. I get the top copy. See, now this guy. See now, even though they're making these in California at this point, they're still doing, and it's going to be shown later on a vehicle license plate that they're still pretending like this is like the East Coast, which is kind of cool. I don't think they necessarily mentioned that in part three, but final chapter is still like pretending like this is the East Coast. And once again, just like with Friday 3, we've got basically a sex crazed male here. You got the curse? If I do, you're it. Now, this video used to be on YouTube. I hope it still is. I haven't looked for it for a long time, but this actual, whatever the hell it is, sexually charged exercise video used to be on YouTube. Please tell me it still is. But I actually remember being at a video store and seeing the VHS tape of this, and it's actually put out by Paramount Home Video, which would make sense. Axel, she mouths "fuck him" right there. Oh God, Axel! So glad you could come. You're the Super Bowl of self-abuse. Yeah, Versimilitude says there's some deleted scenes for the final chapter that are pretty cool to see. Yeah, they're on YouTube from what I understand. Wade says, is this in New Jersey still? I'm pretty sure that, the Jarvis family car has a New Jersey license plate on it. Don't quote me, but we'll find out. I really came to watch the news. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Look at how proper she is right there. That's her news watching posture. Yay! That's you they're talking about on TV, pal. I don't believe you, Axel. Then shut my mouth. It was funny watching this as a 12-year-old because here you've got like quote unquote adults, but watching this at 12 on TV and taping it, it's like these adults that have these jobs at a hospital. It's like they're acting like 12-year-olds. And I can just remember not necessarily being conscious of it at 12, but it was kind of like, it's like adults acting like 12-year-olds. It's just really weird. It's like they're behaving like school kids, like she's not interested in them and then just instant interested in them just out of the blue for no reason. Jesus Christmas, holy Jesus, god damn, holy Jesus, jumping Christmas shit. Where you going? I'll tell you where I'm going. I'm going crazy. So just like continuing the tradition of Friday the 13th Part 3, when I regard the couple at the store, it's almost like a filler scene, you know? It's almost like they didn't have enough footage of the main movie to make the running time, so it's almost like they went back and filmed the beginning scene. I mean, that's kind of how it plays on Friday the 13th Part 3, and to an extent here, but there's more of a reason to have this scene at the hospital because at least it's where Jason was brought to, and we're dealing with the characters that are, you know, around Jason's dead corpse. And once we cut back to Mr. Guy from Police Academy, he puts him in the freezer, you know, the whatever, the here he is putting him in the freezer. So at least, you know, I guess the reason for the opening scene of Part 3, as we discussed, is it's where Jason gets his clothes. But I guess there's a little more reason to have this filler scene that take place at the morgue at the beginning of final chapter. I'm just looking at the quote unquote exercise video. Now Tom Savini, it should be noted, obviously came back to do the effects for final chapter, which is another reason it's my second favorite of the franchise. And what we got going on here is just, even in its R-rated glory, is just great. In particular with these two shots of that head twist around. Oh my God. I can't believe they actually got away with that on R rating, but I'm glad they did. I can still remember how this particular death of this woman was cut on TV. I'll tell you right now. So she goes up, and the stab here is in the movie, but this right here of him right there, you know, kind of carving down, was cut out. So we've got some Steadicam work here in final chapter right there with the daughter and mother on their morning jog once around the lake. And incidentally, I you know, even though it is California, I do think that, you know, the woodage that they filmed the wood stuff in is relatively decent. It doesn't, unlike Part 3 where there's it's evident, very kind of evident that it's in California, more so with some of the shots of the mountains and stuff, or the mountain in the background, or the whatever, the California-ish hill. I think they did a better job with final chapter and getting more wood areas that could resemble closer to the east coast of the United States. Oh, Mom. That's a nice mask. Thanks. I just customized it. I think I'm ahead of myself. Incidentally, I think I'm currently older than this woman who plays his mom is, which is crazy to believe. And yes, as the years go on, she becomes attractive as well. I mean, Corey Feldman and Crispin Glover in the Friday the 13th. I mean, what's not to love? And Tom Savini back doing the gore. Now let's try to get a. I've never really. Is there a license plate on the front? Okay, these guys. You you broke up with BJ Betty. I guess though that's kind of California hillage in the background, but I mean it's not all dirt, so it's not so bad. These two characters are just so fun, and I'm glad Verisimilitude has written a couple of characters that are inspired by these guys. Yeah, I think what Wade was asking is it's supposed to be taking place in New Jersey. I'm going to take a look and see if there's a license plate on this vehicle. I'm pretty sure there's a New Jersey license plate on the Jarvis family vehicle with the noisy, creaky door. Rooster says, does Crispin ever talk about the final chapter in interviews? I don't think I've ever seen him talk about final chapter. That doesn't mean he never has, but he spends most of his time bitching about what they did on Back to the Future too. What's so funny is when he did this computer thing, it sounds like he's actually typing on an Apple IIc uh, keyboard. So when I was younger, I actually thought he had an Apple IIc computer there because it sounds like he's typing on a keyboard, an 80s computer keyboard. God, I'm horny. I did the line from the movie. That wasn't me just randomly saying it. Okay, so I don't. Okay, so the wait. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know that. Is that might be is that a California license plate? It's blue, so I can't really see clear enough. But that might be an '80s California license plate. There's that character, whatever the hell her name is. She's so freaking weird. We'll talk about her later on. She's like one of the weirdest characters so far in the franchise. Might be the weirdest character, like female character in the franchise. Sarah, her character's name is Sarah. So I have a problem with drool. Basically, seeing drool disgusts me. So I have a confession to make. I don't. When this woman drools her banana out of her mouth as she dies, I always avert my eyes because there must be some kind of a clinical definition for someone who can't stand looking at drool or stuff like that. But if there is one, I have that clinical definition. So I will be averting my eyes when this woman dies. Okay, she's about to die, and I'm about to look at chat. Okay, I can see it corner my eye. It's over. So we are. God, I love this house. I know that this house has been used in other movies since, and Eraser, and all this and that, and even Friday the 13th Part 7, which is crazy. It'd be really cool to visit this house, or even cooler to own this house. I really like this house. Anyone up for a Jarvis sandwich? I hope so. Oh my God. So apparently this house that the kids, rent in this movie was built by the production. So does that mean it was, I just saw online today, like a little model mock-up that the production built before they built the house. Does that mean the interior of the house they built too? I mean, that just seems like an expensive endeavor. I mean, obviously it wouldn't be necessarily a full functioning. It just seems like that'd be expensive for an 80s horror movie production to build a. I can understand building the exterior facade, but did they build the interior? It's so funny how, I haven't seen the TV cut since probably 1989, but I can still remember, like right there, when he says, I can remember, there doesn't have to be girls all about. And he says, that's a sin. And they cut there because obviously after that, he says, you dead fuck. I can still remember some of the TV cuts. Now, here's a concerned mother, not necessarily thrilled about her impressionable children meeting up with those questionable kids. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you don't. I mean, you do it with everybody. Oh, I do not. I do it with Paul. Really? So Judy Aronson, everyone, I present to you, and I first saw her in American Ninja before I saw any of the Friday the 13th films. She's the the hero's squeeze in American Ninja. And obviously she's, well, actually, I guess I technically first saw her in Weird Science because me and my dad saw that in the second run theater. So I may have seen Weird Science before I've seen American Ninja. Sarah, the most goofy girl character in the Friday the 13th franchise, at least the first 7 films. Once around the lake. Now you can see it says mass murderer's body missing on the paper there, and she kind of turns it over. Like, I don't want to read that. Okay, here we got. And so basically, you know, when I first saw this movie, when I was taping it off TV, when I was 12, I mean, I was basically his age. And what's funny is it's like I didn't really make that comparison necessarily. When you're a kid watching a movie and you see a kid in the movie, it's like I wasn't necessarily like, oh God, he's my age. He's the age I am now. It's like you see him as a kid, which is weird, even though I was a kid when I was watching it. But this is very relatable, you know, at the time when I was, of course, the TV cut. I can't remember, you know, you don't see anything here. So maybe the TV cut showed all of this because I don't think you see anything here. So they probably could have got away with showing all that. But yeah, there's nothing there that can't be shown on TV. It's really a shame that I know I personally think it would have been really cool and still would be to an extent, but he's getting a little old now. But it would have been cool to see, you know, Corey Feldman reprise the role of Tommy Jarvis from a fan geekdom point of view. I mean, I guess he still could, but it's getting a little. Yeah, I've got to shelter my kid from the world until he's 30. And that thing she covers him up with looks like a mattress pad. I don't understand that. I've never understood that. It's like the underside of a blanket. I think the DP was like, use the underside because it's lighter. It'll catch more light. Now, if anyone hasn't noticed, the music that this guy's listening to is the bar song from Friday the 13th Part 2. It's the song that the band was playing in the bar Friday 13th Part 2, that the tune that was in his headphones right there. And another steady cam shot in these woods. And for being California, I think these woods, once again, are pretty great. Well, sex is a great way to meet them. And what's so great about you might think these characters are just piggish, these male characters, but I mean, this is how young men are, you know. So I I identify with them, and it's kind of liberating to see, you know, young men like yourself on portrayed on screen so realistically. And you got to hand it to the to this movie to have these twins here. And I don't remember if there was our, because this is the 80s, so I don't remember if this movie predates the bubblegum. There's a commercial like where their twins are, you know, selling bubblegum or whatever. I'm not sure which came first, Final Chapter or the twins selling bubblegum. So we spend a brief time with this goofy ass character who will get goofier as the movie wears on, who decides to go back to get the car and maybe realizes now that she didn't make the right choice because she's all alone. She's freaking freaked out alone in the woods, and this character's nuts. She's kind of like a drag, you know? Just like the character of Chris at the end of Part 3, she is, you know, harassed by a piece of tree. So now they're at what I think they regard, or what they said earlier was Crystal Point. So I think we are to assume that this is supposed to be Crystal Lake, although they don't really officially say it. They call this Crystal Point. So I suppose this is supposed to be Crystal Lake, and I definitely like this lake scene. You know, I appreciate that. But that's one thing I didn't mention about Friday 3 is that, that pond kind of left a little to be desired. I like how Final Chapter has a decent amount of, lake swimming in the lake. And see, okay, so those hills right there, that's very California West Coast, so they kind of lose it for me there, but we'll let it slide. We're looking at the water after all. So basically, Trish brought Tommy and the dog down to the Crystal Point. I guess Trish is dressed in a bathing suit, so I guess she was gonna swim, but Tommy doesn't seem to be dressed in anything to swim in. So I don't know if she was just gonna bring him there and she was gonna swim, but obviously seeing these kids skinny dipping, we're gonna give up on the swimming thing. Some pack of patootsies, huh? I love that expression of, oh my God. See, now look at this license plate now. I'm leaning forward. Oh God, I want to say I can see an NJ on top of it. Incidentally, the Final Chapter uses like the same cue like 3 or 4 times. It's from, I think, the first movie, like when what's her name is in the bathroom and Mrs. Voorhees comes in or whatever. But we let it slide. And also this shot of Rob, supposed to be Rob's feet, are not, he's wearing completely different pants and shoes. It's actually a shot of Jason's feet. That in editing they kind of cheated. Oh, it's coming up later. They cheated in editing and come on, Sarah, let's see what you got. No. Come on, strip and dip. Sam, I said no. Talk about nuts. Antisocial. I like the time of day this is. I like the sun in that shot there. It's either early day or late day or something. Probably late day. I like Harry Manfredini's little music cues every time you see that swirling water. It's like ring, and then it goes ring, and then the last one turns into like ring, and then goes Samantha, you bitch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's I don't know. I think that's a New Jersey license plate. I think it says NJ on top. See, those are Jason's pants and shoes. Like, look at Rob's pants and shoes when he's introduced. It's like nothing like that. That's a little sleight of hand with the editing. Turn it on, Trish. Turn it on. Ah! Sorry, Rob Dyer. Sorry about that. What's your problem? I mean, with the car. Now this looks like a 2-camera setup because when you compare this shot here to the shot from behind, it's probably a 2-camera setup because look at it's probably 2 cameras on this, which seems like a lot for a horror movie. And why couldn't they have oiled that car door? Because every time she goes in and out of it, there's this horrendous like squeak. Want a lift? I didn't think anyone lived this far out in the woods. We do. What are you hunting for out here? Bear. You can't be hunting for bear. Oh, his expression is kind of troublesome when he finds out that there's kids, you know, kids or campers or whatever the hell he calls them that are out there. He's like, oh, that could be trouble. And that look will be further explained later on. As the dog gets out and probably runs to the trainer who's wobbling the little stuffy in his hand. Oh, you gotta come in. I got something real neat to show you up in my bedroom. That sounds good. Oh, God. I still would like to visit that house. How cool would it be to go up them stairs? Look at that. Yeah, this is my work. This is my work. I'm like 12 years old, but I've got the work of a 10 or 20 years of a makeup artist that I've supposedly made myself. And what I think is so funny every time I watch this is Rob's reaction to the mask. Like your average person probably wouldn't even give a shit, but he's like, amazing. Like he's mesmerized by the rubber mask. Oh my God, what's this? And they put a Harry Manfredini sting on there. Oh God. I'm gonna shove this right in his face. Okay, Jimmy's dead fuck dance moves. Not today! No way! Not tonight! No way! Not today! I don't remember all the lyrics. It was cool on the DVD, and the alternate takes of his dancing was released, I think, in 2009 when the remasters were done or whatever on DVD. So that was really cool to see the alternate takes of that this scene. And to be honest, there's some moves that he does in the alternate takes that I think are better than some of the stuff he does in this final, the footage that appears in the movie. But for whatever reason, the footage is in there that's in there. Rooster says, I read where it was supposed to be a different song they were dancing to. Yeah, I mean, who knows, It's possible they were hoping for one and weren't able to get the rights or the clearance to it or whatever. Oh, the movements of the 21st century would not be pleased with that guy. Damn teddy bear. So these twins of Tina, is it Tina and Terry? I should know, but they're kind of funny how like one of them they look exactly the same, but the way they're presented is one of them's kind of a seductress and the other is like a virginal innocent, which is kind of funny. Right. So right now I got lobby cards of final chapter, and there's also deleted scenes I think from the TV cut where right now the guy with the big jaw and the crazy girl, like they're not in that scene. That's because they're up on like in the bedrooms or outside just talking amongst themselves. So in case you're wondering where that guy with the never-ending jaw and the goofy psycho chick is, they're talking amongst themselves on their own during this scene, but it didn't end up in the theatrical cut. Now, incidentally, I think this outfit that Kimberly Beck is in here is really cute, and I would have liked to have seen her for the rest of the movie in this outfit. Unfortunately, this is the only scene she's in this outfit in, and I much prefer this to the outfit she spends the rest of the movie in, that big, huge shirt with the belt. So I think this is really cute with the blue shirt, the dark pants, and the blue kind of matching shoes. And that's the last time we'll see her in that outfit. First and last. Nowhere, huh? Check. You gotta warm them up. Watch me do what I do. And Jimbo, don't be such a dead fuck. I told you I didn't like that. Besides, you got the hot one of the check. Hi. He thinks that's funny. He thinks that's a funny thing he's doing. Oh, those characters are great, and you got the Clorox bleach on in the background there. See, now Mr. Big Chin and Crazy Psycho Chick are here. So I think they were getting like ready for the party during that earlier scene or something like that. But I also have a lobby card where they're like chatting outside in front of the house. I don't know if there was a sheen shot of that, but I know that there's a scene with them like up in the bedrooms or something for the TV cut. You don't mind, do you? Rooster says, "Who cares about names when they are that sexy?" That's true. And I've seen one of these twins in a episode of Cheers as well. One of those twins was in an episode of, at least one episode of Cheers. This woman can't decide, or girl, this girl can't decide who the hell she wants. She's this part's funny. I want to talk to you for a second. Man, I'm going to kill him. I said I want to talk to you for a second. Not now, dead fuck. That's what I want to talk to you about. You believe this guy? I mean, I had this girl. She was mine. Oh, well, you know what you should do, Ted? Is you think you should run that through your little computer. This is so funny where this girl goes out to like hope that she's going to go out there to skinny dip at night and hope that Paul comes out looking for her, and she's like, Paul? And it's like, screw you, Paul. And then she'll be like, Paul? And then she'll go, screw you, Paul. It's very actually realistic female behavior. Oh, Rooster says didn't know that. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm saying so much shit. Rooster, what didn't you know? Once again, the lovely, I forgot her name right now. Oh, Cheers episode. Yeah, I've been since there's, I don't claim to think the show is that great or anything, but over the years I've been kind of buying the seasons on DVD, and it's a show from my childhood and stuff. I've been watching it here and there, and yeah, one of them, one of those twins was in, I think, season 3 or 4 or something. So from what I understand in the commentary, this scene here was like filmed at some water reservoir or some shit in January, and even in California, it's probably cold. Like I don't know if you can see her breath here, but when the guy comes in to do the same thing, you can see his fucking breath, and it's just like, God dang it. It's just like, I mean, I guess I understand why they film them when they do. They want to get it out for spring or whatever, but why torture these poor actors with that? Those kind of conditions and temperatures and shit. And this fog, although it's kind of goofy, I kind of like it how it's all heavy and then it kind of just blows away and the water gets all dark here when the fog leaves the frame. And then in this shot, it's all foggy. Paul? Screw you, Paul. Look at that face. We need a poster made of that. Verisimilitude says, I've always had a big crush on Judy Aronson, who plays Sam. Yeah, I'm right with you there. And I like how we see her like naked twice, not just once, but just twice for good measure. I appreciate that. But I hear you about Judy Aronson. Well, she didn't get to screw that guy, so maybe this guy she can screw. And poor Ted he's striking out there. He's not even making it up to bat. Oh. So I'm not 100% sure, but are these two twins? Are they? I think they're British. Are they British? Does anyone in the chat know? I want to say that they're British. I could be wrong. The first time for everything. Yeah, I mean that with her hair up like that and those eyes. I mean, talk about bedroom eyes, Jesus, and bedroom lips and. And they're going upstairs. Meanwhile, he thinks he can. I don't even know why this virginal girl even got off her chair and sat next to him, honestly. Like, oh, I'm just compelled to do this. This is what he expects. It's a teddy bear. Want to give teddy bear a kiss? Oh, it's like the only reason he came out there is to try to get sex. So here's the scene where this guy, as he's, moments before he gets into the water, his breath can be seen coming out of his mouth. And that's dedication to acting. You can see his breath. You can see his breath somewhere around here too. Before, come on, where is it? I don't know. It must be just when the light hits it right. There it was. I saw it. I saw it. Oh my God. That's torture right there. Yeah, Verisimilitude says Judy Aronson was turning blue while shooting the lake scene. Ted White was going to quit the flick if Zito didn't get her out. Yeah, I really don't approve of treatment of people like that on a movie. And Rooster says the twins, they were born in London, so I am correct. I must have seen behind the scenes footage or interviews with them or something, and they were talking their native tongue. Yeah, I remember hearing that. I don't know if it was in the commentary, a final chapter, or what, but I remember hearing that about Judy Aronson as well. There was no reason actually why they couldn't have filmed that her death in the raft in a pool, like in a dark, just in an indoor pool, all dark, you know. But they had to torture her, like the close-ups of her death in the raft. Now, of course, we just saw the wonderful scene of the spear gun in the crotch and lifting up with one hand. How cool is that? Now here, if you look, if anyone's watching along with me, look on the basically screen left, you'll see like the grip stands or whatever the hell they're called. The Steadicam operator pans over way too far, and you can actually see the movie making junk right there. It's like what the grip stands or whatever they're called. It's so funny. They're like actually the movie making stuff is like in the middle of the screen. It's so funny. Wade says, doesn't even make sense he left his tent without the rifle. I guess that's true, but he's got the old machete. That's true, but if he's out there, you know, because after all, he's out there searching for Jason right now. So Wade kind of has a point there. Well, I guess the reason why they had him leave it is so Jason in the movie could break it. So I guess that's the movie's excuse why he left the rifle in the tent. Now, for anyone who hasn't seen the television version, I'm sure you can see the scene on YouTube, but there's a scene that I think happened before or after that scene where he's got that character of Rob Dyer has these little radar dishes that he's setting around the perimeter of his campsite, which is just so funny. And luckily, someone put that stuff on YouTube because I hadn't seen it since frickin' I was 12, and then years ago I actually saw it on YouTube again. It was just so fun. There's also an extended bit where, you know, we got to see the bed fall off. This is probably real. I can't remember if they mentioned it in the commentary or not, but this looks like that really happened and they just went with it. But there's a bit in a TV cut of extended bit in when Corey Feldman's showing that Rob Dyer character up in his room the stuff, and he shows him this thing where he makes him think like he cut his fingers off, and it actually turned out to be a gag. And it's ironic that that was in the TV cut because it was kind of gory. So it's just kind of weird, but I think you can see that on YouTube. Just search final chapter, Friday 13th, final chapter TV footage or something. And how funny are these ancient silent film era adult porno flicks? You don't even have to be stoned to laugh that hard at them. You've got to go. You can kind of hear her accent there, actually. Tina, I'm going to live without you. Take an umbrella. Finally. We've gone, Friday the 13th part 3 was completely dry, albeit it had wind at the end, but we finally got the old rainstorm back in final chapter. It's kind of funny how this girl has a complete, like, rain suit ready. Like, where did she even keep it? You can see the flickering of the old ancient adult movie there on the lower floor, and I love how this shot is just like takes its time. It's almost like if Orson Welles directed a Friday the 13th scene, this is what it would look like. And I love the I'm laughing at the shadow getting impaled. The TV cut didn't have the body being impaled to the house. So every time this happens, it's kind of like, wow, I keep forgetting about that. That wasn't in the TV cut. And I wish for the life of me I could remember what they were like in the TV cut, what they were watching with the old films, because I can't remember that. But I love when the twin sister gets thrown against the side of the house and impaled to the side of the house. here's this psycho chick doing as the best as she can of being non-direct, asking for what she wants without asking for what she wants. This girl drives me absolutely insane. Every time I watch this movie, I'm like, how can I hint about what I want and make it this as difficult as possible? So, mommy, what's her name? Mommy Jarvis was out jogging, got caught in the rain. This is, this is kind of well, except for I guess if you call, Ethel from New Beginning, I guess. I was gonna say this is a first and last in the franchise, but I guess, another mom gets killed in part five. But this is the first time in the franchise that, you know, a 40 something mom gets killed. Of course, it is off screen, and I think it's best that it's off screen. This is a creepy scene, and I think it's lit really well where she comes back to a house where the fuse blew or whatever, a house at night in the rain that, that none of the lights work and stuff. I really like how this is lit. As a matter of fact, where the hell are you? I said that line early. That wasn't to sync you guys up. Verisimilitude says Ted White hated Corey Feldman. He loved doing the scene where he got to bust through the window and grab him. Yeah, I think I might have heard that too. Yeah, I know that I heard that, the scene we see in the movie wasn't like prepared, or it scared Corey Feldman. He wasn't ready for it. That's the shot that's in the movie, they say. Wade says later on she will be part of the you know what movement. Yeah, I try not to mention those terms, but I hear what you're saying. Wait, who are we referring to? The crazy girl that drives me crazy? Look at now, she's soaking wet and you can see her breath too. Oh no, here comes. If you've seen the trailer of Final Chapter, the editor does something so cool. It's really misleading, but it's really cool how they show the shot of that woman reacting to Jason, and then they'll cut to a shot of the woman being thrown through the window. It works so well in the trailer. I almost wish that's how it was in the movie. Like she was reacting to the girl coming out the window, but yeah, I love how that goes in the trailer. Okay, back to Psycho Chick. Ah, this is my first time. It's got to be perfect. She's saying things to herself in the mirror, and it's like I don't think the subtitles cover it. I want to know what she's saying. She's so psycho. She's like one of these girls that grew up on Disney movies and princes and princesses and think that reality has to be perfect. Her first time has to be perfect. I love it when they come through the door and she says, Where's mom?" And Feldman's like, "I don't know." Like, why is he supposed to know any more than you? Oh, it's funny. This movie's funny. Oh, Wade apologizes. No, that's okay. You can type whatever you want. I almost mentioned that movement by name, and I just try not to say things by name because those things are evil and corrupting the people of the world. But you can say whatever you want. Verisimilitude says Zito wanted the mom. Oh yeah, he's from Australia, so he says mum to look a bit suspicious towards the new kids like Mrs. Voorhees. Oh, I see. I don't think I ever knew that. That makes sense. So yeah, but it's not like you would ever think that she's the killer. Wade says the crazy awkward girl that pretends she doesn't know what she wants. Yeah, don't you just? Oh my god. One thing, say what you will about the franchise as people who might be, haters of the franchise, but they get a lot of things right in regards to characterizations of both men and women. Like the men just want sex, and the women are nuts. So they at least get the behaviors of men and women's behaviors down pat. This part is so funny to me. I'm gonna slice a hole in my tent and what the hell are you doing here? Incidentally, this shot of the tent from Final Chapter is used in Friday 7 as Jason approaches that tent as well. The music here, although I can't hear it, is really fun. Machete up, must be Jason. What the hell are you doing here? What are you trying to do? Kill me? Oh, look, you can see his breath as well. He's soaking wet. Okay, I love this scene because it's just played in this just one shot. You know, you don't always need coverage, and I love how he did this just in this scene in this one shot. Wade says Friday the 13th Final Chapter extended version. Search this on YouTube if you want to download the extended version. Friday 13th Part 4. What's that? Would they put some of the uncut gore back into it, or did they insert the TV footage into it, or how is it extended? They probably could have done that deleted ending. Maybe they put into it as well or something. Thank you for the heads up, Wade. This scene is fun where, you know, his buddy has been telling him the whole movie he's a dead fuck, and this revelation that he is in fact not is fun, and I think the audience enjoys that revelation with them. He gets a little rambunctious there in his kisses. So Wade says, yes, insert the TV part, I think. Yeah, they could have done both, where they put the TV stuff back, although that looked really crappy in standard definition, and they could have also integrated some of the, you know, unused gore footage and even the dream scene from the end of the movie, which I think, you know, the movie's better off without the dream scene, but if someone wanted to make a longer version, they definitely could use that footage and do so. That was great. Love teddy bear. Love. Hey, Ted, where's that corkscrew? You know, that fancy corkscrew for the wine bottle? Ted? Ted, hey, Ted. Where's the corkscrew? Chin, 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 chin. Uh, uh. That was just so great. And I love the sound design of the kills in this movie because uh they really complement Tom Savini's effects brilliantly. They're the perfect sound complement to Tom Savini's effects. In particular, that shot where it's just the sound is just, you know, liquid blood, gooey slop just pouring out of his, you know, hand and face. Yeah, Versimilitude says the Prowler got Zito the job for Final Chapter. Yeah, I don't doubt that. And then Final Chapter got him the job of Missing in Action. I recently got the Scream Factory Blu-ray just for the commentary, and it was well worth it. I got it for $10. Out the window goes you. That stunt is really great. I hope that's a woman doing the stunt instead of a man, like in Part 7. So here is just revealed now that this guy was the brother of the Sandra character from Friday 2, and although these movies are years apart, the events aren't of the movies 2, 3, and 4 aren't far enough apart for him to have found out about her and been on a crusade to Avenger, because this is probably just a few days after the events of part 2, maybe 2 or 3 days later, so it's kind of funny. But once again, it's an 80s slasher movie. We don't pay attention to these kind of things. So Wade says they put the uncut scenes in it too, and the uncut scenes are a little weird looking. I don't like the extended corkscrew scene because it looks weird. Yeah, I imagine if you utilize those unused gore scenes incorrectly, it just looks dumb. What's so cool about those though, that they're such high quality, like on the Blu-ray, I would imagine those uncut scenes are presented in high definition, I would think. So, one with the equipment and the means to do so could rip that uncut footage and, put the old like 1:8:5 ratio onto it and really integrate those into the movie seamlessly if they wanted to. I thought about doing a different cut of this character here, the pothead guy's Teddy's kill, utilizing that. There's an alternate shot of more of a wide shot of him sliding down the the screen. I thought about recutting his death and using that alternate shot myself. I've been too lazy to do it though. Okay, here is Miss Frickin' Little Mermaid getting her perfect fairy tale experience just as she expected it. So the way this scene starts, when she kind of like she was facing the other way, makes me wonder if they just got done doing something, if you know what I mean. Now, actually, to this woman's credit, I actually think that this woman is actually pretty attractive. This is the one of the women that's actually pretty attractive. The other ones are not so attractive, but this one actually is on the little porn film from the teens or 20s or whatever. Verisimilitude says, I've heard people diss that Jason gets killed by a kid in this, but I've always found it fitting since Jason is childlike. Well, he's also, that's a good point, and he's also, he's just mesmerized by this vestige of him before him. So if you look at it from those terms, he's like looking in a mirror, and that's a time machine. So he's like seeing himself. I mean, he's caught off guard. And I think the way it's presented in the movie makes perfect sense. But you're right. I mean, just because he's this hulking vestige, this adult hulking muscular man, it doesn't mean his brain is. So I agree with that. Wade says all of the stuff they put in it makes the movie about 1 hour 37 minutes, which means 6 minutes of extra footage. Huh. I don't know how it equals out to 6 minutes, but okay. Yeah, I might have to check that out if I ever get a chance to. Is what's his name still here? It's okay if he isn't. Is shit, I can't remember his name. Is he still here? Fake Shemp? If he's not, that's okay. You can always listen to it later. It's probably just Wade and Verisimilitude and myself. Fake Shemp, are you out there? So far, this psycho girl's love affair, sexual encounter is going swimmingly, although I doubt they use protection, so that won't work out very well for her. Oh, okay, Iron Rooster's here. He says, me too. Yeah, Verisimilitude says, yeah, Tommy basically makes himself into a Jason Kidd mask. Yeah. It's so funny. The first DVD that was put out of Final Chapter, this scene where the lights go out, and I think they did it somehow in the lab. I don't think the lights are actually getting darker on set. But the very first DVD that was released in when the hell would the first DVD have come out? Early 2000s. The lights going out doesn't happen at all. Like you hear the click, but the light doesn't change at all, because it's like the people that made the first DVD, it's like they thought it was like they corrected it or something. Maybe they watched it without the sound or something and saw it go from lighter to darker, and they thought maybe it was a screw up or something, and they fixed it so where you hear the click, but it doesn't get darker in the first DVD. And the first DVD would have come out, I think, in 2001. Is that correct? Because 1 and 2 came out in 90. No, it would have came out in 2000, because 2 and 3 would have come out in 2000. But that always bothered me with that first DVD, but that was fixed when the second DVD came out. Oh no, her fairy tale is, well, this is actually very much like a Disney fairy tale. They always go to shit anyway, so it's still, her fairy tale is still a Disney fairy tale. I always thought this kill was great, and I can remember seeing this for the first time with my dad when we rented it from the video store, and when that axe came through and all those shards go flying out of the way, my dad's like, ooh. I could still remember that, his reaction to certain things. It's like with Friday 3 and that girl, that pothead chick poking her head in the barn with the joint up to her lips, I can remember him laughing at that. Yeah, Rooster says the DVD came out in October 2000. He says he's got the first DVD as well. Yeah, in 99 they put out 1 and 2 in October 2000, 3 and 4 the following October, 5 and 6. And it took 4 years for all 8 to come out. I was just thrilled to have it on DVD at the time, so it was just a little gripe, but it was frustrating every time. As a viewer, I knew that it's supposed to have gotten darker there, but whatever. Now here you can see Corey Feldman accidentally, rips the phone off the hook and looks down at it and then just continues on with the scene. So you got to give him credit for that. Now, I think in the commentary, Joseph Zito comments that the editor hated the shot of like doing it's not quite 180 degrees, but maybe 170 or 60 pan from one house to the other. I'm like, God, what a fucking pussy editor. I think the shot's fine, and I really like shots that can just linger. Now this shot has always been a mystery to me. Even on the new 4K scan, they definitely did something to the shot of them coming in the other house, because look at how dark like contrast is. Like you can't even see his shirt. It's like, are they hiding something? Why is this shot so processed like this? Or did the lab screw up the shot? This shot has always been a mystery to me. But I think it's just this one shot. Once we cut to the next one, it's back to normality. And I love the music cue here when the power goes out and the projector stops. I can't hear it, but I know what it sounds like. Verisimilitude says in a lot of the Friday 13th movies, there's a storm. I've always seen that as a metaphor for Jason as a force of nature. That's really cool. I can tell you're a hardcore Friday 13th fan. That's a really cool insight. Yeah, not to mention the full moon that is heavily prevalent in the first film as well. So, being an influence, the full moon being an influence in that movie as well. That's a good insight there. That's a good way to see it. So, would you say the absence of rain in part 3, like at least they have the wind going, so the wind can be the force of nature? He says getting those on DVD in the early 2000s was mind-blowing, especially the Crystal Lake to Manhattan box set with all the features. Yeah, it's cool that you guys apparently got them down under as well. Did you have the DVD in Australia that had that? Well, yeah, I imagine in that Crystal Lake to Manhattan box set would have had the part and final chapter where the light's supposed to get darker, but it doesn't change at all, because that would have been the same transfer. Okay, not being a big fan of dogs myself, I actually love this part where he jumps out the window and never to be seen. We don't ever see him again, do we? It's just dog suicide. So I guess he was supposed to have seen all the carnage upstairs and been so afraid he jumped out the window. I think we lost, which is understandable. I mean, doing 2 movies in a row is a little much. I think we lost Fake Shemp. He can always listen to what he missed later on. Now you gotta love these clippings. I think these are really fun, and they're actually aged in a way that is kind of fun. But again, was there one about the murders at the diner? Because again, that would be only from a few days ago, and they look way too aged for that. Or the diner one, is that is New Beginning? I can't remember. I wasn't looking at the screen right there. Now I can remember how this bit was cut on TV as well. She comes into the bathroom and follows, her point of view follows over to the feet. So instead of on TV version, we saw the feet hanging there, but instead of showing the shot of him, railroad tied to the wall, they showed the feet again. I can remember the TV cut. Isn't that something? How you can remember that from so long ago? So you see the feet here. They showed that on TV, cut to her, and they cut back to the feet again, instead of the shot of him nailed to the wall. I wish I could remember what was on the porno films on the TV version, though. I always thought this was so stupid when he's like, I gotta go down into the basement where the killer is to get my little knife. I mean, Jesus, give me a break. Now, if you've heard the story about this scene, and Joseph Zito talks about actually either hearing it himself or hearing a news story about some story in New York where someone was being killed, and it was like the guy was saying, he's killing me. So based on reality, and that makes that scene a little more hard to watch knowing that now. Thanks a lot, Joe. Rooster says it was. Haha, very stupid. Yeah. I mean, so now he's dead, a dead corpse, because he went down in the basement where the killer was to get his knife. And once again, it was stupid of her even going down the stairs as far as she did. Hand through the stairs. Even though that outfit that she's wearing, we get to see her legs. I'd much prefer in that other one with like the tight pants and the blue shirt and the blue shoes, but whatever. How funny is that with Crispin, blocking the door with his corpse? Finally, downpour. Oh, every time I watch that, he almost hits his head on that chair post. Is he here? I'm trying to keep you guys in sync. Okay, Jason rips the hand right there. He goes walking out the door. Just trying to get you guys in sync if you're watching it with me now or after the fact. How about this stunt? Oh my God. It's really cool in the extra footage on the Blu-ray. They shot an additional camera on that slow motion, and that shot's really cool. But I can understand why they didn't use it. This isn't a John Woo movie after all. I'm doing the hammer impacts. Okay, shoulder. That's so cool. He just comes to the door, throw the hammer, kunk. And that also began the Jason coming through the door thing, which they would continue on for the next couple movies, 5 and 6, and it just did it for the next two, I think. Yeah, the Scream Factory Blu-ray of Final Chapter looks so amazing. It's such a revelation to have, and with the original mono to boot. I mean, the 5.1 isn't all that different, but for purists who grew up with original mono, you like to have the way it was originally released. I mean, these movies are among my most watched movies that I watch. Now, it looked like Tommy's got this really highfalutin, high-tech, radio system there and a microphone. You think they'd call for help. Have you seen the outtake of him sticking his head and arm through the door, trying to open the door and getting caught in it? That is so funny. Uh, that was a moan for Jason on the ground, not me. Although I'm kind of at my wit's end at this point. I should have had water. Should have got water before I started Final Chapter. If you guys are listening after the fact, I did part 3 and Final Chapter back to back, so I should have got water. I love how he does this when he cuts to that wider shot. How he just this one here where he sees it unfold and you see him move in this shot, and then close up to that's cool. It would have been nice if, as much as Danny Steedman's contribution to 5 was really funny or was really fun, it would have been nice to have Joseph Zito, however the hell you say his last name, return. But that's okay. At least he gave us one, because I do feel like Final Chapter has this. I don't know. Somehow it has this quality that I think is more reminiscent of the first film that perhaps Steve Miner didn't really accomplish with 2 and 3. In my opinion, it's just got a little more craft to it, I think. Now here's the stunt of all stunts. Oh my God. Oh, what a stunt. And it's cool to see all of the other camera angles of that on the extra footage as well, and some of them even being undercranked to make it look like super fast, but it ends up looking like an old silent film. But that was definitely, even though they shot all kinds of different angles of that, you can understand why they just used that one slow-mo shot that they did. It's so for coming out the window, it's just so epic. Okay, Tommy's gonna go into Jason mode with the little clipping hanging there for reference. Look at that rain pouring down backlit. That's so great. How nerve-wracking would it be to own this house and have this production come in and just destroy shit? That'd be nerve-wracking. I'm doing the music that I know goes here. Oh, my hand. Yeah, Iron Rooster brings up a good point. He says Zito probably had more experience than Miner. That's just a guess, though. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, I think Steve Miner's first and second movies very well might have been Friday 2 and 3. So, Friday 2 and 3, although you gotta love them for, what they are and being a part of the franchise, they are kind of just mechanical and they don't really, I mean, I love them, but I don't know, something about Final Chapter, it has more know-how, I think, in visually, and just it's funny how, a different person can bring different things to movies based on their own sensibilities. Jason, don't you remember? Remember, Jason. It's funny how they use those remembers in New Beginning, like remember, 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 remember. Unfortunately, we won't get into that tonight. Next time. Here we go. Swipe. Mask comes down. Ooh. Machete drops. Clink. Dun, 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 dun. Now, does anyone else notice that for this brief moment, it looks like, oh, maybe I'm incorrect. I always thought the handle of the machete was gold there, but it might not be. I always thought that was what it was. I thought that was cool, but it might not be gold. I always thought it was, though, for that like one shot. The machete that kills Jason had a gold handle, but 4K scan might reveal that it was just the way the light reflected on it. But how cool is that? Jason sliding down the machete. I'm surprised they got got away with that in R. That's like beyond classic. Man, I think if you showed even like a seasoned, horror movie person that sees only more recent horror movies now and is used to CG gore, if you showed them that, I'd like to think that would make him go, "Oh my god!" Him sliding down the machete blade. Yeah, Rooster is appreciating Tom Savini's effects on the fake Jason head and how the eyebrows and facial stuff moves. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, and recently listening to the Missing in Action commentary, I found the disc, the Scream Factory Missing in Action Blu-ray previously viewed for $10, and I'm like, oh, it's got a Zito commentary. I'm gonna buy it just for that because I like hearing people, filmmakers that I respect, and the buying it just for the commentary was completely worth it because I really enjoyed listening to his take on that movie, and you know he's just a smart guy, and it was fun to. I got to listen to the final chapter commentary again. I haven't heard that for a while, but yeah, I definitely like Zito as a filmmaker, and would have been nice if he could have done more horror. From what I understand, he pretty much, I don't know his entire filmography, but it did a lot of action after he did Missing in Action. Verisimilitude says, when I first saw the uncut version of the Jason Machete headset slide, it blew my mind because on VHS cut, it was always cut out here in Australia. Oh, so they trimmed that down more in Australia on tape, and then you didn't like get to see it how it's supposed to be until like it came out on disc or something. That's interesting. Yeah, those British-ish countries were so pansy like in the 80s. Not to insult your country by calling it British-ish. But anyway, movie's over. Looks like from what it showed on screen, Tommy Jarvis is going to be, he killed Jason and now he's going to become Jason. And that's, of course, what they insinuate with the poster of New Beginning and even throughout the whole movie, which we will visit some other time because I'm dead now and my voice is dead. If anyone wants to talk briefly and I can just, look at chat before I end tonight, we can do that if you want. Since I've been taking a break with radio show. Rooster says, yeah, what country started the video nasty list? And he says, was it UK? I'm pretty sure UK did. Yeah, from what I know. Anyone want to talk shop for a couple minutes before I end? We can do a little bit of what I used to do on the radio show. The radio show will probably return once the weather turns to crap again. But I got to a point where I was just burnt out reading chat for 2 hours every week, and plus it got so nice here that I thought I deserved a break, and I do. So, if anyone wants to chat up a little bit or ask any questions before I end, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I guess I'll just get the hell out of here. Rooster says Seven Films has like 2 documentaries of the video nasties I've never checked out. Probably be interesting. Yeah, I'm not so interested, but that's okay. What would that be about? Just the UK's disgust with horror movies and how they censor shit? I mean, yeah, I think I deserved a break. I mean, I was doing a 2-hour show or more for every week from January until the end of May. Some of the shows in frickin' February were 4 hours. I don't know how I ever did that. But when it's frickin', 20 below or 10 below, there's not much else to do. Okay, Rooster says, I think it shows a lot of the trailers and different stuff. So kind of like a collection of trailers and promotional material for what they deemed video nasties. Verisimilitude says, Nate, did you know there's a sleepaway camp documentary coming? No, I didn't. I might have been familiar with something like that, but thanks for reminding me. I mean, I used to visit sleepaway camp movies.com. Is that where you found out about it? That's kind of the guy who knows Robert Hiltzik and stuff. I may have heard about that, but thanks for reminding me. Oh, okay. Rooster says, I like older movie trailers. Yeah, they're fun. Oh, God. If you're talking about like movie trailers from like the 70s and 80s, they're really fun when they're like, if it's an old exploitation movie and if the trailer's in horrible condition. It's kind of like the trailers that they tried to recreate in the Grindhouse movie. They made those fake trailers for Thanksgiving and shit. Rooster asks, probably in reference to the Sleepaway Camp documentary. Do you know when it will be released? Probably asking for similitude. Let me get a drink of water real quick and just chat for a couple minutes. I got water. Rooster says, so have you watched the commentary for Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 yet? Yeah, I think I've done all the the extras, except for that there's a film locations thing, and very much with like the film locations that's featured on the Scream Factory Friday the 13th set, like the presenter is not too interesting to watch. So I watched a few minutes of it and then just stopped. But yeah, it's funny because I waited like 3 years for the price of that Blu-ray to come down in price, so I didn't have to pay upwards of $30. But having gotten it for 3 years later for $20, I kind of like those special features are worth $30. So it's kind of funny. But the special features, the commentary with Eric Freeman, and there's interviews with all kinds of people involved in the production, and the Elizabeth Catan, or however the hell you say her name, the chick from Friday 13th Part 7, and the interviews they interview all kinds of people. So the little retrospective documentary and the commentary is really worth the price of the disc. And Eric Freeman, I mean, he's like a really smart guy, and I feel bad listening to him because I don't know. I think he's more critical of his performance in the movie than he needs to be. I mean, I think it'd be nice if he could just enjoy it with the rest of us. But Eric Freeman seems like a really smart guy, smarter than you'd think based on, the way he appeared in the movie and stuff. So, and what's cool about the commentary is just like, I don't know if anyone's heard the first commentary of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, but it's got the director. That one had the director and the whatchamacallit, the guy who played the Shrink, and this one's got the director, Eric Freeman and the Shrink yet again. And it's fun to just hear like Eric Freeman give his advice about stuff, and like the director and or the Shrink guy hearing it for the first time. The commentary is really great on Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. And so I guess that answers that. Verisimilitude says, not as of yet. I do know slowed production down. Verisimilitude says Don LaFontaine's trailer voice is great, especially on the Friday the 13th trailers. Rooster says, I need to watch the commentary. I liked Freeman in it. Laugh out loud. Found the movie Brain Scan in a pawn shop. Have you heard of it? Has Edward Furlong in it? I'm sure I saw rented Brain Scan when it came out on video. I only saw it once, and obviously I don't think I thought much of it because I never saw it again. But yeah, that was one of the early Edward Furlong movies when he was still, kind of in demand, not long after T2. But I mean, yeah, I can't remember thinking much of it. I never wanted to own it or anything. Yeah, he says, I think it's a 94 movie. I think you're right. But yeah, definitely would recommend Blu-ray of Silent Night, Deadly Night. The only problem is, unfortunately, I guess the negative's gone. So they use archival print. And what they do was kind of smart, because the year previous, before the Blu-ray of Part 2 came out, they did the first one, of course. And what they do, and it must have been a lot of work, whenever there's flashback of the first movie, they basically use their scan from the negative of the first movie to use the first movie footage. And because there's no unrated footage in the Silent Night Part 1 footage that's featured in Silent Night Part 2, they don't have to use any of those standard definition inserts when they do the footage of Silent Night Part 1 in Silent Night Part 2. God, if that makes any sense to you, I hope that does. Unfortunately, I think towards the end of Silent Night Part 2 on Blu-ray, they actually use, for like some of the Mother Superior shots in the wheelchair, it looks like they might use standard definition shots for some of the shots of the end of Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. But I only noticed that at the very end, a couple shots. But yeah, I mean, it definitely, the Blu-ray probably looks the best it's ever looked before and may ever look. Isn't that weird when, God, that the owner of a movie, or the owner of the rights to a movie, or whatever, how negatives get lost and people just don't care enough to keep track of things. It's just like, God, it seems like the people that would have financed the project would care enough to keep the negative. But I mean, whatever. I mean, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 was kind of a money grab after all. So Versimilitude says, here's a fun bit of trivia for the commentary for Friday 3. Paramount didn't even want to give Dana Kimmel gas money to come and do it. That is funny. I always wondered if they paid actors to do that. Apparently not. Well, it must vary from actor to actor or something. Rooster says, also found the Wicker Man original Anchor Bay release. I found In the Mouth of Madness by John Carpenter. Like any of those, I haven't seen Wicker Man. I remember seeing Mouth of Madness when it came out. I rented the Laserdisc, and I don't think I've ever owned it. I'm not huge on post 80s John Carpenter. Rooster says, yes, I know what you are talking about, the Silent Night stuff. Okay. Yeah, for me, I don't know. I don't know if I can really stand much of anything Carpenter past Memoirs of an Invisible Man, except for Vampires. I thought was good, and I wish that had been his last movie. That would have been a really great movie to go out on, because Vampires was probably one of his best movies since the 80s. Granted, I don't think I've seen everything he's done since the 80s, but from what I have seen, like, Village of the Damned and Ghosts of Mars and stuff, it's like, what are you even doing? Rooster says, I don't know how some of these negatives get lost. I guess they don't count on some of them being classics. That's true. I mean, I guess at the time they figure, well, this is cut. This is out on VHS. It's out in video stores. We sold the tapes. Okay, what we set out to do has been achieved, so fuck the negative. I guess that's the mindset that, they must have had, because they probably didn't think that in 10, 20, 30 years there was going to be any interest in it. So I guess that's probably correct. Rooster says James Woods was in that, right? Yeah, he was in Vampires. Yep. I remember being impressed with Vampires and surprised that John Carpenter did something so good, so late. To be honest, I actually didn't hate Escape from LA. So I don't love Escape from LA, but I think it's one of his better 90s movies. So I think he did Vampires after that. So he had a relatively decent streak from 96 to 98 there. Verisimilitude says 90s Carpenter isn't great. I do like Body Bags, and Village of the Damned is okay. Yeah, I haven't seen Body Bags. but I don't really like Village of the Damned. Well, why don't we just go to 2 hours? So about 5 minutes left. I gotta get the hell to bed. Appreciate everyone showing up. We probably lost Fake Shemp somewhere in the final chapter commentary, but that's okay. Rooster says, I like the hair story on body bags. Okay, yeah, I have no idea. Verisimilitude says James Woods' best role is in Cat's Eye to me. Oh, okay. So to him, James Woods' best role is Cat Eye. And Wade Wilson makes a weird circle zero thing. I don't know if he's on drugs. Rooster says James Woods was also in Videodrome. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get the Blu-ray of that Criterion because now I can get it for $20. So I got the Scanners Blu-ray, and the interviews on the Scanners Criterion Blu-ray were fun, and I have yet to watch the Criterion movie. See, I have this DVD of Scanners, and I recently revisited it, and I was like, first time seeing Scanners, where I was like, God, that's really kind of cool. So I thought I'd grab the Criterion Scanners Blu-ray for $20, and I'm gonna blind buy Videodrome Criterion Blu-ray for $20, I think. So at some point, if I can, this would be, I don't know, later on at some point, I'll hope to do reviews of those movies and Blu-rays. Don't you love the Criterion 50% off sale? Wade says, no, I'm not on drugs, but sadly my brother died of a heroin overdose. Holy fuck. Just this past June 7th at our house. Well, fuck, I'm very sorry to hear that. He's still depressed about it. I don't blame you. Shit. Sorry about that. Wade says I don't drink or do drugs. I guess my joke was a little insensitive knowing that. Apologies there. Verisimilitude says I hate Videodrome, never got the love, laugh out loud. Okay, well, I think I'll still buy it anyway. $20 ain't nothing. Rooster says, I just recently watched Rabbit. It's another Cronenberg movie. Verisimilitude says, sorry for your loss, Wade. He says that's okay. Thanks, Verus. Yeah, fuck. Yeah. Well, I take my joke back. But I think Scanners was kind of fun. The interview on the Criterion Blu-ray with Michael Ironside is fun, and in they interview the lead guy from Scanners too, the main guy, and that interview was great too. I think he pretty much gave up acting after Scanners and became some artist guy, but that interview was great too. And yeah, I'm excited to actually watch like the movie on the Blu-ray. And I still have to review the Blu-ray movie and Blu-ray of Cut and Run and Blu-ray of Explorers. I got to do the movie and Blu-ray of King Kong 76. I've got things in the pipeline. Summer is the big video production time of year. There's always something to review. Rooster says, yes, I bought Sisters from 72 or 73, Brian De Palma movie. It's Criterion. Yeah, I saw they had that as well. I try to limit, I try not to go overboard on the Criterion sale and try to limit myself. I've never seen Sisters. Verisimilitude says, this was a blast. Glad I could hang with you guys. Yeah, shit. Let's see. What time is it? It must be really early in the morning over there. And what time is it before we say adieu? What time is it in Australia? Geez, thanks for showing up. Yeah, I haven't seen you for a while. I've been wondering about your Friday the 13th movie. So if Verisimilitude can tell me the time, then we can hang it up. Rooster says Dressed to Kill is another Brian De Palma movie from Criterion you might be interested in. Yeah, I was a fan of that in the 90s, and I kind of got bored, but thank you for the... There's just too many on there to buy. That's why I try to pick and choose. But I was big on Dressed to Kill for a while in the 90s, and some movies you just get bored of, and I guess that's kind of one of them. Verisimilitude says Sisters is great. I've got to watch that with a buddy soon who I've been showing all the De Palma classics to. Okay, well, I guess if he never answers my question, I can always do the math and figure out myself what time it is in Australia when it's midnight in America. All right, everyone. Well, I think maybe next time I do part 5 and 6, maybe I'll start sooner, 6 or 7, because by the time it gets to be midnight, I'm kind of getting tired. So Rooster says, yeah, way too many to choose from. I don't see how some guys buy all them. Ha ha. Yeah, well, they go into debt or something. All right, guys, I think that'll pretty much do it. I got to brush my teeth and collapse into a bed. So Wade Wilson says, what is it, 6 or 7 my time, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m.? I don't know what he's talking about. Rooster says, later, man. Oh, yeah, I mean, okay, so Wade's in the East. All you got to do is just subtract from Central. So if I'm starting at 6, then it's going to be, I can do this. Shit, it might be too late for me to do this. You're an hour ahead of me. So if it's 6 Central, it's 7 Eastern. If it's 8 Central, it's 9 Eastern. Oh, it's only 3 p.m. in Australia? Wow. Well, that's okay then. Wade's from Joyzy. Add an hour. I'm an hour behind him. All right, guys. Thanks for the time check-in. Australia Verisimilitude. Probably I'll try to do 5 and 6 sooner than 3 weeks. I'll possibly try to do 5 and 6 next week, so I can get I want to get the Friday the 13th commentaries done so I can do more. And if anyone wants me to do commentary, just leave a comment on any video or whatever suggesting it. And if I like the movie enough to do a commentary, I'll probably do it at some point. So, all right, guys, I gotta go. Thanks very much for showing up. And some of you guys probably stuck with pretty much both movies, which was really cool. So thanks a lot for stopping on by again, Verisimilitude. It's been a while. And I guess we'll see you all next time.